It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, and the roads are really fast, so you can drive like 70
Oh
in
yeah,
the middle of the city.
That's in Mississauga. That's like you knew when you were entering Mississauga because everybody minimum 70.
Right? Yeah, it's great. It's when I moved here, it was really difficult to adjust because you pass the 427 and the speed goes from 70 to 40. Like that's it's a big difference in planning. it's a big difference. So yeah, so now that I'm out here, I get to hike a lot because I'm close to. I'm at the very, very edge of the burbs. Like, do you know where I am actually?
I think you showed me one on Google Maps.
It's at the very, very, very edge. I think there's a little enclave of Burbia back that way, but they're not attached to farms like my house, which is cool. So I'm really close to hiking and things like that. I'm close to the escarpment. I get to go watch waterfalls in the spring and the fall and blah 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 blah. You go to the Y a lot, swim a lot. That's pretty much what I do. And I read and study.
Are you going to the Y that's beside or across from Square One?
Yeah.
I had a membership there for like 10 minutes.
Okay, and the other, like, tell me about this.
My mom got it for me, but I don't understand why, because I was nowhere near Mississauga. This is when I was like 18 or something.
So the funny thing is, I had a pass there when I was 18. That might have been why.
Maybe there's some sort of deal or something.
Yeah, I don't know. We all got one. That's where I worked out when I was a kid too. So it's funny that I come back and I work out there, but I don't know. It's awesome. I love the Y. I went to the Y downtown in Toronto. I went to the Y when I lived in Kitchener. I went to the Y when they sent me to Poland when I was 14 or whatever. So that was cool. I had to think about the Y. I'm okay with them. So yeah.
Well, I guess we could talk about that another day. Why did you get sent to Poland?
Because I was awesome. Literally, actually, it was awesome. Remember, like you go, I have like Sir Awesomeness at the bottom. Sometimes I'm not gonna put it on, but we had. I was a camp counselor when I was a kid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and what happened, I guess, around the same time was the communist government fell in Poland or something. I don't know. I'm not. These things were not top of mind to me at the time. All I knew was going to Poland. So they got their camps back. I knew this. They got their camps and the property back. And so they were going and sending some people from different countries to go. And I was chosen to go, as were two other people from Canada, and a couple of people from Britain were on the trip that we were. We were there for a month, and we were mostly up north. It was pretty cool. The other two kids were awful. The other two Canadians were such awful kids. I didn't hang out with them. I did not like them at all.
What made them awful? Were they boring or terrible?
They were.
Were they delinquents?
I can't say. When we got to Warsaw, and all along the way, when we got to Warsaw, there would be people speaking in different languages, and there were people speaking French, and I spoke French much better than I do now, which is not at all. But I can understand it and I can speak to them, right? So they were kind of upset because they were in French immersion and I was not, and they could not speak to these people because it's a different type of French.
Right. I've heard people always get knocked out by this. They learn French in Canada and they go to like, France or any part of Europe, and it's like, you're not speaking French, you're speaking Canadian.
Yeah, and I have a hard time. I have a hard time with a Quebecois when I'm talking to. When I worked at Bell, for example, I worked in a department where half the department was here and half the department was in Montreal. Mm-hmm. And when we would get together as a group, I speak to them. I speak in French, and they would giggle and stuff like that. And they understood what I was saying. It's just I was using like French words. I don't know how to explain it. But,
was it too formal for them or something like that? Or?
I have no idea. From a technical point of view, I have no idea. I'd like to learn more about the language, but I don't know what it was. I know it's different. That's all. So, and anyway, the kids didn't like me that much after that, so I didn't really have time for them either. There were a whole bunch of Polish kids to play with, and that was the first time I got drunk. I was like, so I remember these guys. They had like this. These people had this. I don't know what do you call them, like an RV, and they had the side of the RV pulled out, and they were all like along a picnic table or something like that in the enclosed area, and they were all hanging out. And so it was like, okay, sure, come on. And I was sitting there with them, and they gave me something to drink, and I smelled it. I'm like, oh my god, this is poison. Like, what the hell is this?
Some insane vodka, I guess.
Yeah, so, but I drank it anyway, because I was like, 14 and highly susceptible to peer pressure, right?
Yes.
So, and I had a bit of it more. I'm just like, okay, fine, whatever. And then this is why I also didn't like the kids. So, okay, move on after this. But what happened was the other kids were there too, and we all got a little bit drunk. But I woke up the next morning, and they did not. So they got in trouble because they got caught. But I didn't. So
of course not. There's another story we can't tell that from Flint.
Oh God!
Never get caught. You never get caught doing that stuff.
Wow! I forgot.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, Flint, Michigan.
Not the first time you had a drink.
Yeah. So, and then I guess that's a really good segue into the next slide that I have here, which is who are we together? Like, what the hell are these guys together on? Whatever this is, this technology that we don't know anything about.
Yeah.
On the YouTube. Why are we here, Simon? Not even. No, wait, not yet. I got the why we're here. I got a slide for that. Actually, that's the one other slide I have.
I thought you were just putting me on the spot.
No, I actually, it's this. This is. I'm right on the slides. Still, I'm on our deck. This is, it's basically who are we together? What are we doing? Like, where did we come from?
Exactly.
Now I'm putting you on the side.
This is my.
It's all you, man. It's all you.
Oh my God.
Huh?
Yeah. So okay.
We'll go back to that internet company, right? The one where we.
Okay. Do you want to hear a fun story? I'll tell you.
Okay.
There's two stories. I'll tell you the first one though.
All right.
So the company I worked at before, right?
Yeah.
The first internet company I worked at, we were snobs.
Yeah. Yeah,
we were huge snobs. We were the best in Toronto. Whoa.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Always in this Toronto Star. So anyway, we got taken over by PSINet, and I'm going to say PSINet because they're gone. They're long gone.
Okay,
they took a bunch of ISPs over. I don't care.
We can talk about companies that don't exist.
Yeah, we'll go back there later because that was a whole company. Anyway, so I quit. I didn't actually quit right away. I got a weird call from a recruiter who was trying to get me into your company, the other side of your company. Where I ended up working.
Yeah.
And I was such a snob. I went into that interview all cocky, like, oh, I don't want to work here, kind of thing. And that's why who hired me, because I was such a go-getter. Because I was being such a dick. And I was asking
now you're gonna have to do me a favor and type in the whose name into the deck. So this is why we have the deck, so we can also follow along.
I'm gonna put it over here. What the hell is the name?
Yeah, so we can follow along with one another. We can have somewhat of a script, but we can also kind of. Where are you typing? I'm sliding down. Okay.
I'm in the Slack right now.
Yeah, I get it.
Do you remember him?
No, where are you? This is really bad. All right, we will talk about it later.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. But anyways, I went in.
It's not gonna mean anything to you either way.
Yeah, exactly. And the worst part was one of your friends was there, and he was like, later he asked me, so did you get the amount of money you asked for? And I was like, yeah, they gave it to me. I'm really surprised. Because I asked for a ton. What I thought was a ton at the time, which is nothing now. I'd be bankrupt if I.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
What is it? A lot of things were cheaper back then.
It wasn't that a lot of things were cheaper. We were being exploited.
You know what? I remember wanting to unionize. I remember having a discussion with a couple of well, of people I know still
Yeah.
about wanting to unionize at one point, sitting at the Bull on Queen Street after going like, this is ridiculous. That was also before the bubble burst when we were talking about. So how do people make money again? Like, what is going on here? I remember those discussions a lot. Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing? Like,
Yeah, I know.
where does the money come from?
Why are some of us skateboarding to work and others are like, driving our Audis?
Yeah,
That's
and the
exactly
TT,
what it was.
Remember the woman with the TT?